My wife's phone has been disconnected for 8 months, so I have no explanation for why it called me at 3 a.m. last Tuesday. I want to be very clear about something before I go any further. Her number is still saved in my phone under her name, Diane, because I'm not ready to, and I don't think that makes me crazy. I think that makes me a person who lost someone. But the account was cancelled 2 weeks after the funeral. I watched her sister do it. I was sitting at the kitchen table and I heard her on the phone with the carrier, and I heard her give them the account number, and I heard the woman on the other end confirmed that the line had been terminated. That number doesn't exist anymore. My phone rang at 3:04 a.m. and the screen said, Diane. I didn't answer. I want to say I was brave enough to answer, but I wasn't. I sat there in the dark and I watched her name light up my bedroom ceiling, and I let it ring until it stopped. 11 rings. I counted them without meaning to. Then silence, and then the small chime that means a voicemail has been left. I didn't listen to it that night. I put the phone face down on the nightstand and I lay there until morning with my eyes open, telling myself it was just a glitch, a spoofed number. Some telemarketers auto dialer that had randomly generated her exact 10 digits, which I know is technically possible and I know is astronomically unlikely. I told myself both of those things at the same time and somehow made them both true enough to get through the night. In the morning, I opened the voicemail. 31 seconds of silence, not dead, silence. You could hear something underneath it, a kind of ambient hum, like a room at night, like the sound a house makes when someone in it is asleep. And then at the very end, just before the recording cut off, a sound that I have listened to maybe 40 times since and still can't fully identify. It was low, almost breathing, almost a word, almost my name. I called Diane's carrier that same morning. The representative confirmed what her sister had told me. The account was closed. The number has been released back into the pool and could not make outgoing calls. When I told her the number had called me at 3 in the morning and left a voicemail, she went quiet for a second and then said she do flag it as a network anomaly. She said those things happen sometimes. Echoes in the system was the phrase she used. Echoes in the system. Echoes in the system. I almost let myself believe that. The second call came 4 nights later, 3:04 again, same time to the minute. I watched her name on the screen and this time I answered. I put the phone to my ear and I didn't say anything. I just listened. There was that same ambient hum, that same night room sound, and then a voice, not Diane's voice, my own voice, coming through the phone, and it took me several seconds to understand what I was hearing because you never really recognize your own voice the first time. It always sounds off, slightly wrong, like the photograph of yourself taken from an angle you don't expect. But it was me. I know my voice, and I was talking to someone quietly, like you talk when you don't want to wake up the house. I heard myself say a name. I heard myself saying Dane. The call cut out. I sat on the edge of my bed with the phone in my hand for a very long time and went back through every possibility. Sleepwalking. I have never sleepwalked in my life. Some kind of recorded call from the past getting bounced back. I do never call that number in the middle of the night. Not once in 9 years of marriage. I went through my call history going back a year. Nothing at 3 a.m., nothing even close. I set up my phone to record audio while I slept. The third call came 6 nights later, same time, and when I listened to the recording from my bedroom, I heard my phone ring. I heard the sound of sheets moving, which meant I had shifted in my dream, and then I heard myself answer, a voice that wasn't mine, speaking quietly and deliberately for almost 4 minutes. I was not awake for any of it. I listened to those 4 minutes with every light in the house on and the doors locked. And I'm going to tell you what I heard, and you can decide what it means because I have been sitting with it for a week and I was no closer to understanding it than I was the moment it ended. I heard myself tell her I missed her. I heard myself describe the house, how the kitchen looked in the morning light, how the garden she do planted in the side yard has overgrown, how I do left her coffee mug on the windowsill because I couldn't know where else to put it. I heard myself the same way you sound when you are talking to someone who can't talk back, the way you sound at a grave. And then I heard the thing that I cannot explain, the thing that made me get up and walk out of my own house and sit in my car in the driveway until daylight, the thing that I have not told any single person until right now. I heard myself go quiet. And then I heard something answer. Not words, not a voice I could make out clearly, but a sound through the phone, coming through whatever line is connecting those calls from a disconnected number in the middle of the night. A sound that rose and fell the way speech does, the way a response does, and then it stopped. I heard myself on the recording say, I know, I'm not ready yet. I don't know who I was talking to. I don't know what I was told. I went to a doctor. I told her about the sleepwalking, left out the part about the cause, and she referred me to a sleep specialist. She said grief does things to the brain during sleep that we don't fully understand. She said the mind looks for resolution, looks for closure, and sometimes acts out conversations we are afraid to have while we are conscious. She said it kindly and she meant it kindly, and I nodded and I thanked her and drove home and sat in the driveway again because I didn't want to go inside. Because here is the thing I can't give her. Here is the thing I can't hand to any doctor or any explanation about grief and sleep and the brain search for resolution. The calls are coming from a dead number. My phone is answering them while I sleep. And whatever is on the other end of that line said something to me that some part of my mind, some working part, understood enough to respond to. I pulled up the voicemail from the first call last night, the one with the 31 seconds of ambient sound and the almost word at the end. And I did something I haven't thought to do before. I turned my phone volume all the way up. I put it on speaker. I sat in absolute silence and I listened to those 31 seconds the way you do listen to something that matters. At the 21-second mark, underneath the hum, underneath the room sound, I heard breathing, slow, steady, the breathing of someone asleep. I have listened to it 6 times now, and I'm sure there is someone breathing in that recording, and the rhythm of it matches mine exactly. I know because I held my breath and counted, and when I breathed out, it lines up perfectly with the sound on the recording, like they were recorded at the same time in the same room, which means whatever called me that first night was standing close enough to record me sleeping. The calls have stopped. It's been 12 days since the last one. My phone sits on the nightstand every night and her name doesn't light up the ceiling anymore. And I don't know if that's better or worse. I don't know if something decided it had said what it needed to say, or if something decided I wasn't listening right. I left a coffee mug on the windowsill. I haven't moved it. Some nights I stand in the kitchen in the dark and I look at it and I think about what I have said on that recording. I'm not ready yet. I think about what I might have meant by that. And I think about what could have made me say it the way I did. Not scared, not confused, but calm, gentle, even like I was reassuring someone, like I was the one doing the comforting. Her number hasn't called again, but last night at 3:04 in the morning, I woke up for no reason in the dark and I was already holding my phone and the screen was on. And there was an unsent message in my text addressed to Jane that I have no memory of writing. It said, I will be ready soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe.